So let's talk about signing and dating digital work. Your names and dates need to be visible all over the place in your work. On Google Slides, I would suggest a text box at the bottom right next to the page number. So like down here, the name and date in our standardized date format. For Google Documents, put it in the document of the document name. Put your name and date in there. Also add your name and date to the footer. And if you put it in the footer, it will automatically appear on all of your pages. Again, this is just a semblance of what you would do with a paper notebook. We know that this is going to tell us more about when the document originated and not so much when you made specific changes. For Google Sheets, I would suggest adding a sheet for title information so you can put your project, what it is, you can put your name and your date, you might put your problem statement and supporting content there, and then your second and third sheets would be your data and your analysis. Some things in Google Sheets, if you maintain that top row as your titles, it makes it easier to manipulate. That's why we want to use a different sheet for your title. And last but not least, we're talking about paper, so you need to have your name and date either at the top or the bottom, and you should always have your paper titled at the top so we know what we're looking at. So if I see a scan of your work, I should see a title and who it belongs to and when they did it. Some things you need to master. You need to master screenshots in Macs. On the Macs, it's Command-Shift-4. On Windows, it's Command-Shift and the letter S. And then you can paste those into your Google Slides or your Google Documents or Google Sheets. Also, when you put an image in, this is why we want to use Slides, put a caption underneath it, text box or a shape like this on the bottom left, so we can see, oh, I covered it up, sorry about that, but the little boxes underneath to explain what that picture is showing us. Don't just throw pictures in there. We need to be able to understand why they're important. Also, sometimes in your presentations it's useful to reference a formula, and I ran across an add-on called Hypatia. It has been whitelisted for students to use, so you can go to add-ons, get add-ons, and search for Hypatia, and you can add this into your Google Slides. It also works in Google Docs. But it lets you really quickly build your equations like you would see in a textbook, and this way you can have your specific equations quickly added to your slideshows without having to go in and do like screenshots and image captures and stuff, so you can manipulate this as you need. So this is a good way to add equations into your notebooks. Some other things you need to pay attention to are keyboard shortcuts. So you'll find that there are some that you use a lot. These are ones I use a lot in Slides, and that is Control Shift and greater than, and Control Shift less than, and this lets you adjust the size of the fonts in a shape or a text box so that you can make things fit and look right, so it doesn't wrap off of the page or that it's not too large. You can kind of shrink it down. Control M is a new slide. It may be Command M on your Apple computer. Duplicating slides, you select the slide on the left and use Control D or Command D maybe on the Mac. I don't know for sure. But you need that lets you duplicate a slide very quickly. And then to paste without formatting, let's say you copy some content from a web page and you want to paste it into your slideshow. If you do Control and Shift and V or Command Shift V, it will paste just the text without the format. When we do external references, I expect to see this kind of information. This is a sample of what it would look like. You need to have the title of the work that you're referencing, a summary of why that article is important or the information that it has that's important for you. Do not copy and paste the article itself. You tell why it is important and the big ideas that it has. So this lets you go through with just a little bit of reading. It helps you navigate your sources. Another thing too is anytime we have an external source, we're going to use an APA reference. You can use websites like bibme.org. If you're using library search tools, the databases and that sort of thing, they will include tools that let you capture those references. So APA reference is what we'll use. Here's an example of that. And there again at the bottom right, you can see the name and date, and you see the slide number or the page number. So if you have questions or ideas for using digital notebooks in our classroom, please let me know. Thank you very much for your attention.